and welcome back to another one of these videos where we have a look at the interactions of a new champion or newly released champion. This time it is going to be Aatrox, and even though it looks like I'm streaming, I am not streaming. I am doing this only for YouTube, even though we are gonna talk about these interactions on the Sunday stream, where we are gonna have a look at Aatrox quite a bit more, because let's be honest, those of you guys who saw the interactions already, you know that there is a lot of material for theories about pretty much everything that we didn't know how it would work. So I'm just gonna call it now. Gale, Morgana, we're gonna talk about those as well. Pantheon, the Darkin, the Void, all of these things are getting connected through Aatrox. So let's get right into this. First of all, for obvious reasons, full credit goes to Skin Spotlight. We wouldn't be able to do jack without them.
Mastery. I must congratulate you. Obviously, your parents never had reason to.
Let's start with a couple of jokes. That's
Rude.
Nothing but jokes. Okay, sometimes there are jokes that don't have to do anything with the lore.
Varus. V-A-R-U-S. Your name should have an A and then another A. Varus. There was a memo, Varus. There was a memo.
Just like this one. I'm just quickly gonna say, okay, I will talk about his design while I'm doing this at the same time.
Did you not get the email chain, Varus? I'm sure I CC'd you in it when I sent it to Rost.
I like how they took Aatrox and they moved him to be closer to the other Darkin. For example, you can notice that the new voice Aatrox has is very similar to someone like Rust, but I see an issue here, and that is that I always thought that Aatrox would be this massive, and as he is now called, the World Ender, you know, this not overly confident guy, but someone who is mean but not crazy. I always thought that because Aatrox always looked angelic and more like a demonic angel, I don't know if there's a word for that, but I always thought
Demonic
that
angel.
Aatrox saw a noble cause
A human? Sorry.
in what he was doing. And now that is completely gone. Completely gone. Aatrox is more of a madman now, and I am not sure if I like it. Also, some of you guys were asking me what do I think about his new accent, because let's be honest, Aatrox is semi-Russian and semi-German now. He's like something in between. I find it weird, to be honest, because accents in real life, for example, the way why I talk like a broken squeaky toy, is because there are countries that have different languages, and those different languages prefer your vocals to behave a certain way.
Wait, there's other countries?
That's why accents exist in the first place. Now, this wouldn't make sense for Aatrox, because why would the Darkin have different accents? Some of you guys said that it might be because maybe the vessel or the body that he has, maybe that body had, you know, different accent because it was from a different region. I would say no to that, because in this form, Aatrox is basically in exactly the same form as someone like Rust, and Rust has his own voice once he gets completed. Once he transforms into Rust, he's not using Kayn anymore, and he's using his own voice, and he does not have a voice anywhere close to Aatrox. So that's just my comment on the voice. But
Since they're all Shireen and God Warriors, they should sound similar.
We all agreed on the double A thing, Varus. The double A thing.
I know this is just a joke, but I wonder if Riot will actually make every new Darkin from now on have double A.
They didn't.
A scythe? Are you planning on murdering fields of wheat?
I like how
They did? Is Zolani not a Darkin? Maybe I'm just spelling her name wrong. Isn't it? Oh, she does have double A. Xolaani. You're right. Yeah, fuck me, huh? They did. Ha! Spoiler alert. They did.
I
And
don't know
she's
if,
not a champ. Well, it matches anyway. Harazi's not double A though. That's true. Harazi. That's true.
if this like directly confirms it, because this is more like a joke, but it feels like Aatrox is saying that the Darkin were able to actually choose weapons. which means that they really were sealed inside their own weapons. They weren't sealed inside a weapon that dang it, I just forgot the name. The Golden Warrior Queen, you know, when she sealed them, she didn't seal them inside Shuriman weapons. She actually sealed the Darkin inside their own weapons.
I chose a sword, the noblest weapon. Rast, you. Seriously, I don't understand.
Also, just a
Were
joke.
you trapped in the gardening section?
Just a joke.
I will find a way to tear down the heavens and reveal you as fiends. Not today, obviously.
There will be a lot of comments on Targon here, because Aatrox is revealing some
Tear down the heavens and reveal you as fiends. I like that, dude. I like that.
insane information, and I'm gonna say it right now, there will be a theory coming very soon, because you'll know when we get to it. When we get to it, because it seems like the people of Targon, the heavenly people, really are fighting back the demonic people of the Darkin. And you'll see what I mean
He
by
calls
that.
them demonic. Because this is like what people thought back in the day, right? But now people are like, no, the Darkin and blood magic, they don't have anything to do with demons. We'll see about that.
We'll get to it.
Do I resemble you, abomination?
Also, another reason why we are going to talk about theories later is because he has some interesting comments on the Void. And notice how Aatrox is constantly talking about him maybe somewhat resembling the Void, or him not being sure if he is corrupted by the Void. Notice how he's talking about that.
Your form isn't my destiny. Is it? You don't know how to talk, do you? Shit.
That's our swear word that we can.
He's just rambling to this fucking thing. Oh, you don't know how to talk. Shit. That's a hilarious line.
Use in our meme montages.
Tricksakali. They will not hide you from me. Face your doom.
It's likely a random one. Because, you know, she is getting a rework, so...
Old Akali.
It's teasing her own rework.
Another foolish god. Even the phoenix shall end.
This is like the Ice Phoenix, Articuno, right? It has a name that's like similar to Aviana. What is it? Anivia. Yeah. I feel you. Cryo Phoenix. Nice.
This is a big...
Oh, it
big,
says
big
it in the top left. I knew that, chat. I just wanted your opinion, obviously. Calculated.
confirmation that the gods of League of Legends are not the gods that we believe they are. Aatrox here confirms that when, in terms of Valorant, or sorry, in terms of Runeterra, in terms of the world of League of Legends, when we talk about gods, we are talking about those big creatures that we always called demigods, because we, as the readers and the, you know, someone who's from outside the world, we only see gods as someone like Aurelion Sol, who is like the creator of half of the universe, really. And
gods to me is always a relative term. There will always be groups that see things that others define not as gods as gods. It's like, it's a really common thing in Final Fantasy. It's a really common thing in World of Warcraft. Like, there are those who see the Titan Keepers as like gods, right?
but they are gods to the mortal beings on Runeterra.
Right. Okay. So he's totally. This guy. He knows. He knows. I like this guy's videos. Necrit videos are fantastic. I love that he like gets those concepts and puts them in the video for everyone to understand as well, because it can get real hairy when people want to try to have it defined as like these are the only gods. That's not really the case. Think about the primals and the 12 in Final Fantasy. Those are definitely gods still. But oftentimes, one of my favorite tropes in fantasy is the purpose of worship. that gods basically cease to be when they don't have worshippers. So like whether it's primals, whether it's the 12, whether it's the wild gods, the whatever setting it is, I like it, the Loa, I like it best when they must be sustained by mortals. Because to me, that is one of the things that maybe insinuates a true god kind of thing, right? Where you need worship, you need people to be aware of your existence. It is what sustains you. And without that, you don't exist. You're not a god if there are no mortals to worship you.
So here Aatrox really confirms that when we are talking about gods, we really are talking about those massive beings that shaped the how Runeterra really works.
Cosmic gods, one might say.
Look at your noble courage, Darius. Now learn despair.
I think these are most likely just going to be random comments on champions that have weapons. However, here it has a little bit more value because, well, not really. Because at first I thought because Darius was in some shape or form closer to the heart of Noxus where Rust was held, as we assume. But actually not really. Darius wasn't really part of that. So this is really just a random comment.
I mean, I do think though, even though twisted as he is, for Aatrox to be able to say that someone has noble courage, I think that's pretty meaningful. Like this guy basically was like a valorous Giga Chad warrior before he turned into this, you know? So I think for him to say that, I think that's kind of meaningful. Like it's almost like a little nod to like Darius, in my opinion, of like, you do have that noble courage, but I'm still gonna break you. Like Darius does embody the value of courage in Noxus, which is one of the 3 pillars of society. So it definitely means something. Yeah. Darius to me reads like the general of the army that deep down has a noble and good heart, but no less is still like a conqueror because his nation demands it. Am I wrong about that? Darius strikes me as the guy who's like a fucking badass on the surface, but deep down he has some very strong, virtuous ideals.
You are unloved, Mundo. Now face judgment.
Could be teasing reworking as well.
I know your name, Fiora. This is not a duel. You shall win.
Old Mundo.
I know your name. This one got me curious at first because when we get to Tryndamere, you'll see that Aatrox seems to be pointing at the fact that maybe he's looking for more vessels. It seems like he has a body, but the further he gets, or the more he uses his own body, the more he looks into getting a new vessel.
I feel like that was kind of suggested in the thing that we watched before this, when it talked about him finding someone stronger. Everyone around him was like weak and dying. So like the endless pursuit of like a more powerful vessel makes sense. Fiora's known as like a very skilled duelist, so you might think that like maybe she was up there in consideration for someone for him to go for. I could get behind that interpretation. Same with like a Tryndamere kind of situation.
So it looks like he knows Fiora because he knows that she's a powerful swordsman duelist.
Yep.
So maybe he wants to use her body as his next vessel. And when we get to Tryndamere, you'll see that he wanted to use Tryndamere as well. So this is kind of teasing what is Aatrox's story going to be like. So
it could also be a joke. Yeah, Fiora often names herself. Then that could be a bit of a joke there. If she often leads in by like, I am Fiora, you know what I mean? I don't know if she does anything like that. I can't remember if I've seen that in a cinematic or not, but if she's often the one kind of like announcing herself, you know, or it could be both. Who knows?
He's constantly looking for new bodies to use. Or maybe he's just looking for talented swordsmen.
She does do that, so it's probably a joke in line with like, I know your name, Fiora. Like, you don't need to fucking say it to me.
To fuel his powers.
Scream Demacia, Garen. Scream its name before I crush you. and it.
These are all just
I
being...
killed God's priestess. Let us continue this fight until all things stop.
And Ilaoi is the priestess of Nagakoboros, right? She's from Bilgewater. She's like a sea priestess who fucking giga juiced. Nice. Let us continue this fight until all things stop. That's badass. Almost kind of makes me feel like Aatrox is like, yeah, you're a I kill gods. That's fucking sick. But their battle would rage for a while. I don't know.
While the rest were random comments here,
God of movement.
it kind of reveals that Aatrox is really the slayer of gods. You'll see that he has other mentions of that as well, and he might be the powerful Darkin who was sent down on Runeterra to slay the gods of Runeterra, which means he was likely sent there to go for someone like Ornn, Anivia, Volibear, all of those guys, and this might reveal that Nagakoboros is just another one of those gods. Maybe Nagakoboros is not really a almighty being on Runeterra. Maybe it's just another being. Maybe it's just a little spirit squid under the ocean.
It really just depends on how you personally look at it. I don't really understand the Aatrox was sent there kind of thing. I don't fully understand where that comes from. Maybe I'm missing something. It seems more like a self-purpose kind of thing. It's from old lore, probably. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty old. 6 years ago.
It seems that way from what Aatrox is mentioning here.
A worthy vessel. Come, Jax.
Jax.
A powerful...
He says he's a worthy vessel. That's pretty interesting, dude.
Worthy vessel. Come, Jax.
That's pretty cool. This is the character that Necrit speculates could be like a troll, right? Or like a sand troll or something. Yeah, his hands and stuff are similar to Trundle and all that, you know. And he wears that mask thing, but that wouldn't really make much room for a head in there. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Yeah, the 3 fingers thing definitely is like a troll kind of thing. He's a Ninja Turtle. Yeah, didn't this guy doesn't he have like the last like embers of the flame of Acacia inside of that lamppost thing, and he had to like nerf himself by not using like actual weapons because he's like a fucking Giga Chad? That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty cool.
A powerful fighter, a new vessel.
You would rush towards me, Kaiser? What fool would build a strategy on that idea? Come, let us begin.
I've heard that voice line somewhere before. Probably when I first reacted to the Aatrox voice lines. Who would win in a fight between Jax and like a Wuju master? If you were to go with like Master, what was his name? Master Wu or Master, what was his actual name? Yi. Master Yi. Sorry. It wouldn't be Wu. Wu with the Wuju. Master Yi, no doubt. They were, dude, oh man. Could you imagine if that order, like, were to ever be, like, revived or something? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I don't know if it is or not, or if there's remaining members of it. I remember learning a little bit about it before, but...
That's just a comment that it does rush towards you when she ults you, but he has more quotes on her. Okay, later then.
Let me show you your error, Kale. You are not worthy of ascension.
Damn.
You are not worthy of the ones.
Damn. He does not have nice things to say about Kale. That's old Kale. Oh yeah.
Now we're getting into the interesting part. This is very interesting because he not only does he call Kale an ascended, which makes me heavily think that this is gonna be Targon, and he's also saying you are not worthy of the worms. And
oh, so this is like before they like revealed that Kale and Morgana were like ascended or children of an ascended. Before that story became like full blown. Okay. Man, League lore's changed a lot, huh, dude? Oh my god.
We know that he hates the Targonians, and you'll see why when we get to Zoe. And let me show you your error, Gale. This makes me think that... Okay, this is what my theory will be about. It seems that there are people, or the heavenly people of Targon...
Are aspects ascended? Well, you have the aspects, and then you have like the... How I understood it was the ascended god warriors. One is being given the power. One is taking the power, essentially. From two different places. One is being given power from the Celestials. The other's taking power from Aurelian Soul. But in the case of like, you could probably... I mean, they're very similar. You could probably... I don't know if you should just use them interchangeably. But like, you could call someone's... I think... aspectral... I would call it an aspectral ascension. Like... I think the word, the actual word ascension itself, in this case, disconnect it from the Shuriman part of it, and just, it's an ascension of power. Like, it's not, you don't have to think of it as like the literal term, you know what I mean? Like, I would still call them ascended god warriors, or god warriors, and I would still call them aspects. I think either way, it doesn't really matter. It's more about recognizing where that power is coming from.
And they either can ascend to their angelic forms or to something greater, or they can descend, or I don't know what else I would call that, and they can turn into the Darkin. It very, 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 very heavily seems to be...
It's an interesting interpretation, given the time.
This is the classic story, and when you look at them, it does seem that way. This is the classic story of heavens against the hell, right? You have Kale, and on the other side, you have freaking demonic angel Aatrox.
I love how he keeps saying demonic, the old stuff. I love it, I love it.
And you'll see that this will look that way more and more as we look into the other Targonians. But so far, it seems that you have Targon, but inside Targon you have the inner war between the heavenly people of Targon and the Darkin. And because both of them fight against the Void, that's why he also has comments on the Void. You'll see how it all just clicks together.
That makes sense, given what was known at the time.
Where is your head, Rothing?
What the fuck is that?
Neck I shall sever.
This is a joke I need to comment on. If you don't understand this joke, okay? If you somehow don't understand this joke, this is a joke where new players always thought, when you look at Malphite right here, his head...
That's the Ishtali Guardian thing? Right. Is that the thing that got turned into like a fucking gigantic scorpion? Oh, Skarner. So this guy's like a huge rock dude. He still looks like that? Sorry, I get my wires crossed a little bit.
Definitely looks like a nose. And with his old textures, before he got like, these are actually pretty good now. His old textures definitely made him look like the body, like his shoulders, that's where his eyes were, and his head is a nose. So this is a comment on the new players of League of Legends being confused whether this is actually his head or not. Because if you look at Malphite, you can never see his eyes. Unless he does an emote, you can't see his eyes.
You would bind yourself to this realm, Morgana? Fine. Let me show you the ground.
This is another big one, because this is not only... Okay, he mentions that Morgana bound herself to this realm, which means that she went down from Targon. She's not on Targon anymore. Morgana is on Runeterra now. However, I don't know why. I mean, it would make sense why she would be the fallen angel.
I understand the reason why. I know the stuff between Kayle and Morgana now. That's all clear. I'm not worried about it.
Because she would fall down from Targon. But this really seems to make her less of an evil character. It seems that Morgana may not be the evil half that would go against Kayle. Maybe.
Little did he know.
Maybe they are together with Kayle, but maybe Morgana went down to Runeterra to accomplish something, which we still don't know. But we now know that Morgana is now on Runeterra.
Nasus,
Nice.
is your wisdom enough to know your fate? I am your death.
I wonder if he knows Nasus because of the big fight in Shurima against the Darkin. I wonder
assume.
if that's why.
Someone did make an interesting point earlier that the God Warriors often bear animalistic resemblances, like Azir, Nasus, Renekton. That is very interesting. Because obviously, as you guys were saying earlier, some of the things that you see in Legends of Runeterra, some of those Celestials, like there's a snake, like a big ram thing. There's like a dog. I've seen like a soul say like good puppy or whatever. All that stuff. That is really interesting.
Hail, Father
Then you got this fucking guy.
God of fire and forge. I am Aatrox, and I am the God Killer.
Again, the Slayer of Gods.
It's a sick fucking line.
Pantheon,
Old Pantheon there.
noble and proud he carries himself. Come, betrayer.
Okay, this is
Betrayer.
another big one because notice how he says "Hail Pantheon" every single time he talks about.
What are those? Dude? What are those? What the fuck? What are those? Oh my god, bro. Look at this guy's feet.
And maybe Pantheon is like the highest position there because he always says "Hail Pantheon" and he's always looking up to him, right? Notice how he does that every single time and he does it mockingly. So maybe he really was looking up to Pantheon at one point, but then he turned into a darky.
Atreus is the man? No, he's the goat. What a fucking banger YouTube comment.
And that's when he started seeing himself as someone better, right? Notice how he says it every single time. Also, again, it seems like Aatrox is talking about the Targon betraying him somehow, okay? And I don't know what that would be. It still points at the fact that maybe the heavenly people of Targon still split into either the Aspects or the Darkin. And because Pantheon went for the Aspects and Aatrox is now a Darkin, he feels betrayed, right? It still clicks with my theory. Fiend, yeah.
I like his idea of where he was going with this.
Let me hear you cry of friendship. Let me hear you scream of brotherhood.
This is just so powerful. Again, Hail Pantheon. Cry of friendship and scream of brotherhood. It seems like
Doesn't I don't fucking know. Didn't Pantheon have a fucking like a group of people who like fought in his name called the Rakor or something like that? They're like Targonians or something that like they're like his dudes. They like fight in the name of fucking Pantheon or whatever. And that's what like that whole post-ruination short story's about, where like the lady recognizes that he's not really like Pantheon anymore. That's the tribe that he's from. Atreus' tribe. Yeah, he climbs Targon with that wife's husband. Her husband dies during the climb, right? He makes it out. She's all pissed at him and shit. Then so she was Rakor as well. Then they were all of that tribe, which is why he came back. That's why he ends up there. He's coming home.
Pantheon was really trying to gather together his own people, and he was trying to maybe bond the Targonians together. And Aatrox is just not having it. Again,
Necrit's talking about this in his recent videos of Atreus being broken by domination twice. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I am so
Thanks for
excited
the follow.
for this. I am so excited for this. So excited.
Those are two of my favorite characters right here. Pantheon and Aatrox, dude. They're fucking sick. Both of these guys are fucking sick. I've listened to both of their voice lines, and we're going to do a little bit of Pantheon after this as well.
Pantheon.
Again,
See the weapon I have become. Watch as you are destroyed.
See the weapon I have become. See? Again, this points at the fact that they were together, and then Aatrox did something and he got separated from them. My mind is just blown by where the story is going with this.
Oh.
It's just so interesting.
Hail the Protector. Hail Derek. Aspect of... Get a haircut.
Get a haircut! Fucking Aatrox, man. And they were roommates. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Little did he know.
I
Aatrox.
don't know if this is a lore joke that not a lot of people will get, because... First of all, he says, Hail the Protector. Which means, you know how he before said Hail Pantheon? The Protector, just like Pantheon, is gonna be one of the highest places where you can get the aspects, right? So again, Aatrox knows him. He knows he is the Protector. Once again, confirming that Aatrox must have been one of their own people at some point. Also,
dude, this is kind of like watching some of my really old speculation back, where like I'm so sure of a couple things and they're just not even like remotely close to where they took the lore in World of Warcraft. It happens to the best of us. So I'm not laughing at him as like in a disrespectful way. It just reminds me so much of like, I've been here so many times, man. It's just the way it goes. The nature of speculation is that you're wrong like half the time probably. So it's okay. It's really funny to me. Turns out hating life itself includes a lot of people.
Aspect of, and he never finishes that because the joke is that no one has any idea what he's even the aspect of. Sparkles and something is
the
what
Guardian.
That's
what it ended up being.
Cowardly spirit. How annoying you are.
Timo.
I will savor killing you, Timo.
How annoying
Cowardly
you are.
spirit, confirming that yes, Yordles are turning into like the not pixies. What's the word for that?
Fae? They're Fae essentially from the Emerald Dream in a lot of ways. They're nature spirits, immortal and tied to the Bandle City.
The fairy, the fairies of Runeterra.
Yeah.
Yes, Trendemir. I am the cause of your suffering. See if you can cut justice from me.
Trindamir's just doing push-ups? What the fuck?
I am the cause of your suffering. It seems that Riot has still used his old lore to get into the new one, which I am a fan of, because here it seems that the rage that Tryndamere has was
the curse from
somehow
Aatrox, right?
brought into him through Aatrox, which means that just like in his old lore, Aatrox somehow empowered Tryndamere, and I believe it is because Aatrox wants Tryndamere to be his next vessel. He empowered him so that in the future he could harvest his body. That is.
I think that's an interesting take, and I've heard him say that in more recent lore videos too. Even that, like, he basically, if you think about it this way, he's almost like kind of prepping Tryndamere through that behavior to kind of be like that. You know, I think that makes sense.
Is my take on this. It seems that it will be this way.
Rage? You are just flesh, Trendemir, ready for harvesting.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Harvesting. He empowered him so that he can harvest his body later.
I wait for you, Trendemir. Come, take your vengeance.
Again, same thing.
Trying to bait him, yeah.
Remember the screams of your kinsmen as you fall to me, Trendemir.
Again, just like in the old lore, he probably slaughtered his entire tribe.
You would end worlds as a bow?
This is Varys. Yeah, it says right there.
Here is he's just commenting on the choice of weapon, really.
I know it was you, trickster.
Zoe.
You gave them the tools to trap me. Come, let me kill you. 1,000 times isn't enough.
Yeah, he really fucking hates Zoe, bro. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, she's so fucking annoying, dude. When I heard her voice lines, I wanted to tear my fucking ears off. She's so fucking annoying. I love that delivery. It's so good, dude. I can't fucking stand Zoe. She's so fucking annoying, man. The Void couldn't fully corrupt God Warriors at first, but they left a tiny whisper towards destruction and conquest. Yeah, just like subtly pulling in the back of their minds.
Aatrox seriously hates Zoe. Like, holy crap, this is some pure hatred, and you'll see he has more comments on her. Because we now know that she is, okay, he will mention what aspect she is later on. She will confirm what kind of aspect Zoe is, but he calls her a trickster, and she gave them the tools to trap him, which means Zoe is the aspect who gave the Shurimans, or it seems that it would be the Shurimans, because, you know, the Golden Queen, the Golden Warrior Queen, because she trapped the Darkin inside their own weapons, Zoe had to somehow give them the power to do that. And I wonder what kind of power that would be. Because there was... I can't remember now.
It is interesting.
I honestly can't...
But this is what we end up learning is, like, the power of dead stars, right? Like, that's what they used, right? That's, like... Damn. That's quite a power.
Can't remember if the story mentioned if the queen used something special to seal them, like a scepter or a weapon or a magical stick. I don't know if the story mentioned anything like that. And on that topic, because Aatrox says that you gave them...
Yeah, it would have been a previous incarnation. Yeah. I don't know if Aatrox is speaking to the aspect. You know what I mean? I think that's more what's going on. The power behind it kind of thing.
The tools to trap me. Maybe the Golden Queen that trapped Aatrox, sorry, not Aatrox, Varus, which we know from the story, maybe she wasn't the only one who was trapping the Darkin. If Aatrox really was in Freljord, maybe in Freljord there was someone totally else, someone totally different who also sealed the Darkin there, or Aatrox there. So maybe there were more people who had the power to seal the Darkin.
I expected you to be nimble, Fiora. Too easily, my blade crushed your spine.
Again, he's commenting on Fiora as if he knew who she was, which means that he, again, might have known who Fiora was, and he might have known that Fiora was a really good swordsman. I mean, she is. It's not like he actually killed her here, but he might want to use her body for the next vessel.
Demacia!
Oh, he says it to him.
Whatever Demacia is, I will slay it next.
He's so fucking badass, dude. Whatever Demacia is, I will slay it next. Yo. What a fucking banger line.
I just realized one thing. I just realized that he has quite a bit of quotes against Darius. Sorry, not Darius, Garen. Actually, Darius as well. But Garen specifically. Because Garen is also a powerful swordsman. Maybe he also wants Garen's body as his vessel.
In time, I will learn how to kill even your god, Ilaoi.
In time, I will learn how to kill even your god. This means that Nagaki Boros is something more than a normal god.
Yeah, different spectrums, and depends probably where you fight it as well. I don't know how good of a swimmer Aatrox is, but that could be kind of a wrench in the plan. You know, I don't imagine he's the best swimmer, so that could be a problem. But yeah, the implication there, I would agree, is the implication. You know, it's about the implication. It's that Nagaki Boros is quite strong, god of the deep, god of movement, as you guys said.
Oh no, this
is 6 years old, bro. Are you just now? Did you just get here? We know that. Yes, that's been brought up about a dozen times during this video. Yes, we know. I wasn't speaking to you. Okay, my bad. Anytime you guys just type in chat like that, and you don't say like at chat or at someone in the chat, I assume you're talking to me. So, my bad.
This is a little bit of a mind-blowing quote to me. Because this means that Nagake Boros may not have a physical body that he would slay. What? Maybe Nagake Boros really is from the void. And because he's fighting back the void, and he has not like completely slain all the void creatures, maybe he doesn't know how to slay him as well. Maybe it's too far-fetched, but at least this confirms that maybe Nagake Boros just doesn't have a physical body.
I cannot know if I was corrupted by the void, but at least my choices were not asinine.
This is a heavy quote. Heavy one, because again, he's talking about him not being sure if he's corrupted by the void. Which means he was fighting the void as well, which means it seems to be Targonian based, because Targon is the main enemy of the void. It all clicks together. That's why this is so awesome. These are like some of the best quotes or best interactions a champion has had in a long time. I mean, Swain was pretty good, but this is on a different level. He cannot know if he was corrupted by the void. At least my choices were not asinine. So he chose to become Darkin. That was his choice, because this is a quote against Kaisa, who chose to become a void-corrupted being.
Right, she's a lot like Kerrigan, who's like, I'm pretty sure like Zerg fucking queen corrupted shit, or like Illyria Windrunner kind of vibe. She's very much like, what is asinine? I'm pretty sure asinine means like making choices that don't make sense. That was an asinine decision. It's like illogical. It's a stupid decision, to simplify that. There's actually a lot of RuneScape lore. I know. I know.
But him not being sure if he's corrupted by the void. Maybe the black parts on all the Darkin are what they harvested from the void? This is just... There are so many possible theories on this.
Yeah, asinine is like foolish.
Die, Kale. Knowing your potential will never be reached.
Knowing your potential will never be reached.
Full-blown ascension.
So maybe Kale is in a state between a holy warrior of Targon and between an ascended. As in, she's not an aspect. Or sorry, she is ascended, but she's not an aspect.
It's pretty close.
Maybe there is like a middle
kind of
state,
what ended up
what
happening.
Kale is.
You disgust me, Morgana. Die in the filth of your bound flesh.
That's a fucking banger line.
Bound flesh. Bound flesh.
Yeah, this is all before the
her
Kale and
body-
Morgana lore, got more fleshed out and
Is she? No, she can't be an aspect. Is she an aspect? No. Yes, maybe.
Yes.
Why would she bound the flesh? That would mean that she doesn't have or she has a real form that is not physical, and she had to get a physical form through someone? This is very confusing.
Lord, like all gods, you disappoint.
The God Slayer again.
You crawl forward like a worm, ready to be squashed again.
Ready to be squashed again. This is a quote where it doesn't matter if a Pantheon dies, because the aspect will choose another vessel and they will just keep on going.
Lord of Starlight, Lord of Hair, I trample on your corpse turret.
Lord of Hair.
I spit on your aspect's purpose.
Okay, first of all, I spit on your aspect's purpose, meaning that every aspect has its own purpose. We got Pantheon and the war. We got Zoe, which still, I don't want to spoil it because he will mention it like in a second from now. We have Tariq. He's a Lord of Starlight, Lord of Hair. That could be just a joke. I mean, the hair is definitely a joke, but Starlight could be a joke. But he is still the protector, and his purpose is to preserve life. Okay? And I believe it's because the aspects of Targon need their vessels. They need life to take over the bodies. So I think that Tariq's purpose is to keep life there on the planet, so that the Targon is able to take over bodies. I can't think of anything else, really, that...
In a way, that's kind of my perception of what the Guardian would do.
You know, his purpose would be...
But this is obviously before he knows that.
I taught you my next vessel, Chandemir. Pity. You failed even to become a slave.
I thought you my next vessel. I mean, yeah, there you go.
Yep. His next vessel. This is what I was talking about before. Tryndamere was supposed to be his next vessel. Or still is, because again, he didn't die here.
But I'm gonna be honest, Aatrox might have fucked up. Like, he might have fucked up. Especially now that, like, with the whole Ashe and Tryndamere situation, with how Ashe is able to, like, help Tryndamere, like, quell his rage. If you think about it this way, him subjecting Tryndamere to that rage over time, that might end up working, like, against Aatrox. Like, you might very well just be exposing someone to the very thing that they need to be exposed to in order to, like, resist you.
Oh, I loathe your freedom, trickster.
Trickster.
I will take this vengeance upon you until the end of times.
Again, so much hate towards Zoe because of her, the Darkin were imprisoned in the first place. So it absolutely makes sense why he's mad at her, but the hatred is pretty strong.
Yeah.
This is your destiny.
Maybe he's trying to
clowning on him.
convert him into a Darkin, now that I think about it.
He would need a weapon, though. Yeah.
Could Aatrox be creating more Darkin? Could he be duplicating himself?
That's an interesting idea.
I will gut you and tear you from existence, trickster.
It's all the rage again.
Aspect of change. Now you die.
Aspect of change. There we go. So we now know, confirmed 100%, that Zoe is the aspect of change, which is definitely what her entire story was about.
100% confirmed. Which, yeah, sure. But there's also the whole Twilight part, yeah. Being imprisoned in your weapon is a nightmarish fate. Mm-hmm.
I believe it was mentioned there in the story as well. I believe it was mentioned there once, too. But this is the first time it is actually mentioned in game by one of the other champions. So, you know, this is exactly what Zoe is all about. When Zoe arrives somewhere, a big change is about to happen. That's why Zoe usually brings in a cataclysm, because whenever Zoe is around...
Sure, Twilight could relate to change very much. I mean, Twilight is what happens when you go from light to dark or dark to light. You could definitely absolutely spin that. It's a transitory stage. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, and those were the quotes of Aatrox. I did skip some of them because, well, actually a lot of them didn't really have any true meaning, and they were usually a comment on either what the champion does in game or just the way the champions behave. So, a lot of them I couldn't really...
Even though it's old and a little outdated, still super fun.
There, so I just skipped them. But, so keep in mind that all of the quotes that you heard here today were all of those that had some impact on the story. And from this, you can definitely expect a theory coming somewhat soon-ish to the channel. Because...
Who the fuck is this nerd? I can't stop watching LOL stuff. Who the fuck is this guy? It's recommending me my own fucking stream.